We all know that a relationship, once established, needs to be maintained. That's especially true as children grow older. Time spent with your child is critical, but sometimes situations we don't foresee can make this a challenge. I'm here with Peg Libby, Executive Director of Kids First. Welcome, Peg.
Thanks.
I was wondering, could you tell us a bit about Kids First?
Oh, I'd be happy to. Kids First has a very focused mission, and our mission is to provide support to families who are going through the transition of divorce and separation, to make sure that the needs of the children stay in the forefront, hence the name Kids First. We provide support to families at the very beginning stages of divorce and separation, to families who've been divorced for a long time, to parents and families who have never been married but have children together, and to parents who remarry and have what we call blended families.
Wow, you have a lot on your plate over at the Kids First Center. Can you tell us a bit about how most of the families come to find you in the community? What are the needs that they're facing?
Well, you know, we get a lot of referrals from the schools, from the courts. The courts were seeing a difference in families who had gone through a Kids First program. And a Kids First program is, it's not therapy and it's not counseling. It's a 4-hour, what we call psychoeducational program that helps parents understand what behaviors they should avoid through the transition, what they should share with their children and what they shouldn't share with their children, how to speak to a child, how to explain to a child what divorce and separation mean. We believe that most parents really want to be good parents, and they just need a little guidance. Divorce is a very difficult transition. And whenever I speak in the community, inevitably, 25-year-old, 35-year-old will come up to me and say, boy, I wish there was something like Kids First around when my parents divorced. So we really try to give parents tools that they can use, practical tools that they can use to help them through the transition and help their children as well. So schools are a very good source of referrals, private mental health professionals, family law attorneys, the courts, churches, synagogues. I mean, divorce is so prevalent that I think people sometimes underestimate what a big deal it is to kids. If you've ever known a child whose parents have gone through a difficult divorce, you know divorce is a big deal to kids.
Quickly, Peg, could you give us one top-line piece of advice that you would give to parents who are in a situation, any of those situations that you described, whether they're already divorced or going to be divorced or blended family? What's the top piece of information that you'd like to share?
Well, I believe that most children can get through divorce relatively unscathed. It has everything to do with how their parents do it. And we try to encourage parents to create what we call a co-parenting relationship. It's different than when they were parents, obviously, but a co-parenting relationship is much more businesslike. It's communication in a more respectful, businesslike way. Because to be good parents, you need to communicate about what's going on with your children. And children from a divorced or separated families quickly learn that their parents might not be aware of what's going on in the other household and can use it to their advantage sometimes. So especially with school-age children, it's really important to keep the lines of communication open.
Terrific. And is there any specific information that is more relevant to the parents of a younger child, say in the middle school versus and elementary school versus the high school level?
Well, I think that it's really important for parents to recognize that a parenting plan that might have worked in elementary school probably isn't going to work in high school. High school kids, the most important thing is to be with their peers and to gain a little independence. So the real challenge when you're co-parenting in a high school situation is to have enough input and interaction with the child and with the other parent so that people know what's going on, you know, where they are at midnight and what the expectation is as to when they're going to get home. But you also need to realize that you may not be getting them 50% of the time. Parents call us and they're so upset, oh, we've got a 50-50 residency schedule, and I'm not seeing my daughter 50% of the time. Well, how old is she? Well, she's a senior in high school. Sometimes parents need to really step back and recognize that it may not feel even Steven for a while during those high school years.
Terrific. So these are some of the topics that you touch upon in your trainings.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. That sounds like an enormous amount of information to convey to our community, and very vital one to those who need a little further guidance. If folks wanted to learn more about the Kids First Center, how would they go about that?
Well, there's a variety of ways. They could visit our website, and that's a really nice place to start because there are even pages there for children and parents to get some tips. Well, the holidays are oftentimes difficult, and we have 10 tips to survive the holidays. So our website would be a great place, and that's at kidsfirstcenter.org. We also have offices in Portland. We're at 222 St. John Street in that great big brick railroad station building, and we're in Suite 101, and the number is 207-761-2709. They can also drop in. The office is open between 8 and 4. In the late afternoon, we do divorce support groups for kids. On Saturdays, we do groups for parents. In the evenings, there are groups for parents, but the office and the library can be utilized between 8 and 4 any weekday.
Thank you so much, Peg. We appreciate all you do for the children in our community.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.